Well, we're back again. Who's top of the league?
We are.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
How could that have happened?
because we're amazing.
Well, I don't know about that. So, we're fresh off a 0-0 draw against Chelsea. What did you think?
We didn't play good enough.
So you weren't happy with the draw?
No, we need. If we won, we would have been like 2 points ahead.
No, this is true.
So we needed a win. And we should have won.
So do you think that we gave them too much respect?
Yes.
And that maybe if we hadn't have been so defensive, we would have won it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's Jose's way to play safe. I think it was clear from early into the second half that we were playing for a draw.
Yeah.
We created nothing in the second half really, which was a little disappointing. We were much more dangerous in the first half. But then look, that is just we're going to have to live with. That's the way we are going to play.
Yeah, and didn't Roden play the whole game?
Yeah, Roden has been thrown in at the deep end.
Yeah.
He seems to be the first choice now, ahead of Sanchez, who maybe that's because Sanchez is registered for the Europa League and he wants to share the workload, but it's still a big ask throwing him in because that was his first start in the Premier League, Roden's first start.
Yeah.
And it did show at times he made 2 errors, which thankfully weren't costly. But for the rest of the game, he was solid enough. Just at that level, it's those couple of errors that normally decide things, and well, we got away with it, particularly the one with Giroud very late in the game. So yeah, it wasn't pleasant watching, but neither was the City game.
Yeah.
But we won that and we're top of the league. So I think the real point here is that's what we were going to have to live with. We're going to have to live with the football being a little boring, a little negative. But we've done it well. We look a lot more difficult to break down.
Yeah.
At times it's like we're playing 6 at the back.
Yeah.
Teams are going to find it very, very difficult to score against us. They're going to, which we weren't not so long ago. We weren't saying that. So we think about us. You've got Dyer, who's always seems to have a mistake in him, and see a few very dodgy passes out from the back today.
Yeah.
He had also an incident where he lost his man altogether when a cross came in.
Yeah.
And the player making his Premier League debut, and still Chelsea didn't really look like scoring. Their best chance, apart from the offside goal, was a shot from distance, which Hugo made a great save from.
Yeah, Hugo is very good. He made very good saves.
Yeah, I suppose Giroud's chance as well from a mistake, but like we were solid enough. Chelsea are, make no mistake, Chelsea are a good side, and in the Premier League, we're not playing better sides than Chelsea and Man City, apart from Liverpool. That's it. And we've held our own with them so far. So that in itself is a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just going back to the City game for a minute, what did you think of that?
Good. I'm happy that we won that.
Yeah, in hindsight, it looked like a plan well executed. But while I was watching it, I was not enjoying it one bit. The first half in particular.
Same.
Yeah, first half in particular, I thought City were just going to score whenever they felt like it. I thought we rode our luck. Again, we had a goal disallowed in that. We did have a goal disallowed in that game. But what I meant to say was they had a goal disallowed in that game as well. And it was marginal at best, the handball. I'm not saying it was a handball, but it was very marginal. On another day, it might have been given. But the second half, I thought that City ran out of ideas, and as the game went on, we became more likely. That became a bit more comfortable. I think if we're going to be sitting back in games like that, I think if we score first, we get that goal early on and sit back. That's one thing. But I'd rather be hanging on for a 1-0 win than hanging on for a 0-0 draw. That is just so dangerous. It's just watching Spurs for so long, it's just so against what we normally do, what we have been for so long. But yeah, it does seem that in a rather short spell of time, a year, because it's only a few days ago that Jose's been at Spurs for a year.
Yeah.
He seems to have got his his message across and his way of playing across pretty quickly now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something. Next up we have Arsenal, the old enemy.
No, isn't it Lask? Then Arsenal.
Okay, that's correct. I meant in the Premier League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, next up because we were talking about the Premier League, but yes, you are correct.
Yes.
Next up in the Premier League is the old enemy Arsenal.
We need to beat them.
We do, and we need to beat them no matter what. And they're mid-table.
It'd be great if we could beat them like 10-0.
It would, but 1-0 would do fine. 1-0 would do fine. Yeah, we've a tough run of fixtures now coming up between now and Christmas. But if we keep picking up points and win, we need to go. We need to beat Arsenal. We need to beat Palace. We need to beat Leicester, and we need to go to Liverpool and at the very least not lose. I mean, we're clearly not going to go up there and try and blow them away. We're going to do exactly the same as we did today.
Yeah.
Probably play for a draw again, and I suppose you have to say that'll be a good result once we don't lose that game. So, are we genuine title contenders?
Yep.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm just afraid to say so. I'm afraid to say we might actually be. I mean, I seem to remember in an episode at the end of last season, somebody asked were Spurs the title contenders this year, and we had a bit of a laugh about it. It seemed to be a ridiculous idea, and I think I want to wait until nearer Christmas, until nearer a halfway point before I express an opinion. I just don't want to get too excited. One game at a time.
Yeah. But
it was interesting with Jose talking after the game that the players are not happy, that they wanted more, and this is bringing me around to the one negative in these last two league games. Pretty much everyone played well, apart from I think we're carrying one passenger who is at best a reserve player. You should be playing the Europa games, not the Premier League games. And you know who that is?
Bergwijn.
Yep, he's not up to the standard. He's not up to the standard of a team that wants to win the Premier League. He just simply is not good enough. He ran around a lot. He was okay defensively, but he's not putting his head in and challenging as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
He had arguably our best chance, which he skied over the bar. Put that away, and it's a whole different game. You'd like to think if Bale was playing instead, or Lamela even, or Lucas. Then Lucas is a much better finisher. You'd like to think that's a goal, but Bergwijn, no, and he just seems to get so, particularly going forward. He worked hard, in fairness to him, but going forward when we need to be making the difference, and against teams like Chelsea, it's those small margins make all the difference, and he just simply doesn't have it. Yeah. He had a good start. With that goal against City, but he's done so little since. And I think if we could replace him with a better player in the January window, I would sell him if any decent offer came in. I just don't think he's up to it.
Yeah. Cannot
understand why he's in the team. But that's one negative. And as I said, he did work hard, so maybe we're being a bit hard on him. Of course, since our last video, there was also a European game.
Against, I cannot pronounce their name.
The Bulgarian team, Ludogorets.
Yes.
Yeah, and what did you think of that?
Good, we played well.
Yeah, it was.
Wink's goal was very good.
Yeah, it was like a training game. It really was like a training game. Winks' goal.
It was one of his dodgy passes.
It was so far out that the camera had to pan across. Like for the time he shot, the camera had to pan across to show the goal. And I was like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
Because it did look like a speculative ball into the box. And look, maybe he should have claimed it, but like we could tell he was laughing afterwards that he didn't beat it. But hey, it looked good.
Yeah.
It certainly did look good. Lucas scored a good goal as well. And the boy Vinicius.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a couple.
Yeah.
2 good finishes. I thought Dele played well. Not everything he tried came off, but he played well. He was trying things. Winks played well. He was playing the ball forward rather than sideways and backwards. So, yeah. I mean, the crowd and commentary on Sky today were saying, Dele and Winks have been left out. But
They're just playing the Europa League instead.
Well, Jose clearly wants to win that.
Yeah.
So
He wants to win everything.
yeah, so even if they're not first choice in the Premier League, the same could be said for Sanchez. So he's putting as I said before, is rolling in the team because he's better than Sanchez, or because he wants to, or because he's stuck with Sanchez in the Europa League. I don't know, but look, players have to do a job there as well. And they did. Vinicius played well. He had a lovely layoff for Lucas's goal too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got to see his celebration. Go on, do it.
What was
Just
it?
his celebration.
It's like that.
Yeah. So we got to do that as well. It's been a little while since we made a video, and I can't remember, was there any games since that? We had an international break. We made one before the international break, didn't we? So it's just been those 3 games. Other interesting thing. Aurier seems to be
getting better.
Well, he didn't really do anything wrong today. Having someone pushing him is helping, and I haven't been impressed with Doherty, and it looks like he's not the first choice in the Premier League now.
Yeah.
He was also he had a bit of a COVID scare.
No, Doherty did had COVID.
Yeah, but he was back soon enough, you know.
Yeah, he must have tested
He
negative.
must have tested negative quick enough, so that's what I mean. It wasn't a long-term thing.
Yeah.
As well, playing for Ireland, just another mess we won't get into. If anything, the worrying thing against City was Toby's injury. You know, madness playing. You know, having to play all those games. Played 3 times for Belgium during the international break. Just silly. At his age, when he's had injury issues in the past, so it looked nasty. But they're saying that it'll be a couple of weeks. He's probably going to miss. He's going to miss the next 2 games anyway. Whether he could be back for the Liverpool game, be good if he was back for. I'd be a lot happier if he was back for the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
You know, but as I said, you know, despite not having him there, we still restricted Chelsea to very few chances.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's looking positive enough, but it's not enjoyable. But I suppose the question I'd have to ask now is which is better, playing scintillating football the way we were in 2017 under Pochettino, the last season at the Lane, and finishing second, or playing boring, albeit very, very good defensive football under Mourinho and winning.
I don't know.
Which would you take?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to say after 40 years, I'll take winning.
Yeah.
Like if we end up finishing 5th or 6th and somehow or other, and we're playing like this, I'd be disgusted. But if we win the league, I don't really care how we do.
Once we win it.
Yeah. As I said, I don't even want to think about it. But if we could do it, it would be something else.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Is there anything else to say? The next game in the Europa League is against Lask.
We bet them,
and we need a point to get through. Ideally, we want to win the group.
Yeah.
To hopefully get an easier draw, because I think if we don't, we can get we have more chances of getting one of the teams that come down from the Champions League.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. There's other good teams. There's still other good teams that we could play. Certainly got to be watching out for Leicester, though. I'm not sure we can get them in the next round. I think it might have to be the round afterwards that we can get another Premier League team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're favourites for that competition as well.
Yeah.
So we will see. So there'll be another chance to see the.
And we have the other cup thing against Stoke.
But that's coming up next. That's coming up next month. The League Cup, whatever it's called now, Carabao Cup, I think it's called now.
That's it.
Quarter final against Stoke, and you never know. So look, hopefully we can keep players fit. That Jose manages the squad well. I think players like Dele and Vinicius, Winks even, they're going to have parts to play, because there are going to be injuries, there are going to be suspensions. So hopefully our luck holds out, because a big part of Liverpool winning that league last year was they had a lot of luck with injuries. Things went their way, and that's part of any team winning the league, and good for them. And like, well, I'm still not taking anything away from that. So I'm just saying that if we have to do it, we need more of the same. We need that. Maybe we need more of it than they had. But we definitely we don't need players. Not even going to mention any player in particular. We don't need players being out for 3 or 4 months this season. The manager needs to manage them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what we need if we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So we call it a day.
Yeah.
All right. Till the next time.
Yeah.
Anything fun to add?
No.
No, you're getting very mature now, yeah?
Pandas.
Yeah. All right. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.